baseball, Titans and rivals meet on the Holy Hill, both having down here at Episcopal High School against the visiting Saints of St. Agnes School. We are ready to rock.
Welcome back to Episcopal High School in the Humble Bowl.
Welcome back to Bryant Field.
We're
live on Bocock Wrestling Page.
I'm ready for this game. Oh, so shot
wow.
Scores!
Here it goes up, puts it down.
He's going for the win. That kid is not getting up.
Wow.
Takes it almost 60 yards. Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, what a shot that shot in.
She is really a dominant player. To Winnie, another goal. Another great one from Winnie Hughes.
Swing and a miss, strike and a miss, swing and a miss.
She's going to put a shot up over the head, and she scores! Puts the soccer team on top in the second period of overtime. Back at the over to goal! The kid does it. The Maroon getting really fired up, and I can help to get fired up too, Charles. We're going to need this. We need this energy today.
Actions recently, I mean, they didn't get the field to practice on yesterday, so it could affect them on how they field balls today, especially in this cold weather. Definitely changing up from the past few days.
We'll see how that plays out. We are ready for first pitch, right to business here. Essentino Lewis on the mound for the high school. First pitch high. Let's take a look at the starting defense for the Maroon. Jay, who you feeling might have some big defensive plays in him today?
Well, you see Thomas Ziegler in the center. He's a senior. He's got a very powerful arm. That's why he's playing in center field. He's been able to make a few throws that have been quite magnificent over to third and over to home, and that could play a real factor in the way the St. Stephen's team attacks going to home plate and also stealing third.
Love to see that. Check swing strike, first strike one. That's a 1-1 count. Ball fouled directly back. It's 1-2. Essentino Lewis quickly ahead. What's your playbook for Lewis here? He's a little hot and cold, isn't he?
Well, I feel like Essentino really just needs to settle down and try and keep himself grounded in where he is. And as we see him take this pitch right here, he's going to look to try and just not get in his head, because he is a very good pitcher and he knows what he's doing. He just sometimes he might not feel himself, and you need to be as comfortable as possible on the mound.
Looking for confidence here. That pitch maybe trying for off speed. It sailed over the catcher's head. Swung on and missed in the dirt. Wurzburger Lopez fires to first wide, and that goes into right field. That's going to be a two-base strikeout. Unfortunate start to the day for the Maroon. Oh boy, they're throwing the ball around. Runner takes third. He's going to turn and hold there. So strikeout, but the ball was in the dirt, and now we are looking at no outs and runner at third base.
Not a great start for Episcopal. As I said earlier, the fielding concerns coming to light early in this game. Episcopal giving up a strikeout that turned into a triple. Not something you want to see. You know, Moses, who's the defensive anchor for Episcopal, making a lot of vocal plays and calling out the things that you need him to do at the catcher position, was unable to connect there on that play with Kenyon commit Truman Albright, and a long throw there from Drew Littlejohn in right field led to a series of mishaps, which caused the Maroon to lose momentum here and a mound visit to occur.
Uncharacteristic from Wurzburger Lopez behind the dish. He's usually so solid, but hopefully Essentino Lewis can settle down and shake that off. Certainly not his fault. That was a great pitch right in the dirt, just where he wanted it. Didn't work out.
Curious to see what these umpires and coaches are talking about right now at home plate.
You think maybe some curiosity about whether the ball went out of play there? It looks to be referencing towards home plate. Maybe something about catcher blocking the runner in some way.
I mean, I find that hard to imagine, because Moses was indeed behind the player. I believe he's P.J. Wolf of St. Stephen's, senior, leading this team as well. Great contact hitter at the leadoff position. On-base percentage is very high.
The umpire's coordinating here. We'll see what comes of this play. Again, two throwing errors on the play. First, Wurzburger Lopez went wide, And next up, Drew Littlejohn over through second base. The Maroon fortunate not to have given up a run on that first play of the game. They'll settle in here and try to calm things down.
Tino Lewis getting time to collect himself on the mound and shake off that last at bat. Nothing he could really do at the end there, but can certainly play a factor seeing one of the runners run all the way around the bases after you just tried so hard to strike him out.
Being a pitcher in a baseball game is all about having a short memory. We'll see if he can live up to that here. In steps the Saints batter, and we're ready to get back underway. Second batter of the game. Again, nobody out, runner at third base. That ball is low, good block by Wurzburger Lopez. Looks like we got number 11 here. That is Luca Leonardo batting second. High and inside, batter gets out of the way. 2-0 count.
See if Esentino can put a strike top right corner of the zone. He goes bottom left there.
Love to see it. Pound the zone, 2-1 count.
And that's a high fly ball over to left field. See if Timmy Albers can get under it. He can, and he'll make that out. Runner at third will decide not to tag forward, I believe, and I'll leave the Maroon with 1 out.
I'm a little suspicious. Did they grant him home on the previous play?
You're right, I do not see him on third base. It's quite odd.
Must be that the umpires decided that he was due home plate. It must have been that the ball went out of play on the overthrow. I'm not even sure what happened. From our angle, deep out in center field, a little tough to tell.
But there's no guy on third anymore. They have a run?
The best we can guess, that run did score, and it is 1-0 Saints here in the top of the first.
Definitely an interesting call there. Was not expecting that.
You just wish we had major league capabilities with umpires with microphones, but we don't have that ability here.
Esentino finding himself behind in the count once again, 2-1.
That ball is high. That's going to be a walk. Runner first base, 1 out. That was number 18, Dylan Landsberg there. In steps the cleanup hitter. Would love a double play ball here if you're Esentino Lewis, eh?
I agree with you. Optimally 6-4-3, if you could. And the ball gets behind Moses, and he will have to make a throw to second, but he will abstain from doing so, and that will be a free base for St. Stephen's. Now with a man on second. Double play opportunity is right down the drain for Maroon.
Try to keep that runner there, but he's now in scoring position. This appears to be number 4, Mark Lieberman, batting for the Saints. That one comes in up and in. Lewis sets. Wurzburger Lopez shuffles outside, and that ball is low. Got to find the zone early in this game. Can't give up too many walks. Free passes are kryptonite of high school baseball.
St. Stephen's player on second base taking quite a big lead there. Curious to see if Brennan Casey on second base will try and pick him off. Tino not even looking back though, fires, and that'll be inside for a strike.
Hill Porter playing shortstop today, ignoring the runner while Casey holds him on. Lewis sets. That ball just a bit outside. That's another walk, and runners are at first and second. Still just one out on the inning here. Top of the first.
I have no doubt, though, that Esentino can gain his bearings and try and strike a few batters out here to prevent the damage and keep St. Stephen's from scoring a few more runs here. Another pause in play temporarily. It looks like the umpire's writing something down on his notepad.
Perhaps a scorecard, a lineup card, not fully accurate. Takes a little figuring out early in a high school baseball game. Tell me more about this pink glove we see on Sigler in center field. What's the story behind that one, Jay?
Well, it's really a personality choice. Thomas has spent a lot of time with a lot of different gloves growing up, and he found that the pink one was the easiest for him to be able to contrast that from the ball. Then also, he just had a really good feel for it when he bought it and as he was playing with it in travel ball, and it allowed him to grab the ball quickly after making a play in the outfield and also just be able to make athletic movements without inhibiting his running as much. So that's definitely why he chose that pink glove right there.
First pitch from Lewis fouled off there. The runner from second was in motion. Runner from first did not follow. We'll see if that is the case on this play as well. Lewis sets, and he delivers up and away. Hill Porter, his shortstop, was a little bit out of position there. Fortunate maybe for the Maroon that was not put into play. A big gap on the left side of the infield on that pitch. This is the first lefty the Saints are sending up, their number 5 hitter. That ball is in for a strike, and it's a 1-1 count.
As you mentioned earlier, Hill Porter playing shortstop, something unusual. New sophomore Billy Toomey of Hoxton Dorm normally plays shortstop, but due to a wrist injury only 2 games ago, he has to come out, and I believe it's broken, so he will not be back for the rest of the season. So Episcopal's going to have to rely on Hill Porter to step up and play shortstop, which I'm sure he can do. And
Swing and a miss on a nice off-speed pitch there. That apparently is 3 outs. We had 1 on the board here, so perhaps they called that first runner out for something. Maybe the tag was made on that drop third strike. A little hard to tell there. It seems that the score is 0-0, and we are into the bottom of the first.
Definitely unusual. It seems like St. Stephen's runner was called out, and there was no run on that play. Thus, the score is 0-0. And with the bottom of the first now, curious. I mean, I guess that's why the St. Stephen's coaches were spending so much time talking to the umps. But, you know, even looking at that play from a St. Stephen's perspective, I didn't really see what could have been the, interference there or some sort of meddling with the ball, unless he somehow slapped it out of Truman's glove.
My guess would be it had to be that he was in the way of the throw from Wurzburger Lopez. Umpires have taken a big move recently to call out of the first baseline, so perhaps that was related to it. But whatever it was, it works in the Maroons' favor there, and they're able to end the top of the first with no runs on the board for the Saints.
Definitely lucky for Episcopal. I mean, they will have the opportunity to clear the bases there. Tino not letting up any runs. We'll have number 6, Carter O'Neill, class of 2029.
Ninth grader on the mound here.
Must be a freshman prodigy pitching for
see
St.
it.
Stephen's. Clear the bases.
What can you tell us about the Maroon lineup, Jay? Who's hot, who's not? What do we got going on?
Well, we've had a lot of consistent hitting from Moses Wasberger Lopez, sophomore leader on this team, as you mentioned, behind the plate. And also you've got a lot of base running from Thomas Sigler. Although he hasn't hit as much, he has definitely been producing on the bases. He's been walked a ton this year. He's been hit by a pitch a few times. Even though he doesn't get on base as valiantly as one player might want to, he's definitely on base a lot. That plays a factor. He's one of the more speedy members on this team. And then also, additionally, Billy Toomey, who we're missing, is a very impactful player behind the plate. He had a home run earlier this season, and the Episcopal is definitely missing him. Timmy Albers, consistent producer. Same thing with Hill Porter, both seniors. And, of course, Episcopal missing one of their best players, Maximus Krzyzewski, this entire season because of a foot surgery that was required after the football season.
Just brutal to start down such a big player, both in the lineup and physically, Maximus. But Wurzburger Lopez steps in as the leadoff hitter. Not too often do you see a catcher in the leadoff spot, AJ.
I agree with you. Let's see what he can do here. I mean, first high pitch there will leave him with a ball. Moses knows how to work the count, especially, his stature gives him a smaller strike zone than other players, so definitely plays into his favor.
Crouches down there. We saw the Saints take advantage with some patience of the Episcopal pitching. We'll see if Episcopal can pay that right back in the bottom of the first. O'Neill deals a strike, and Wurzburger Lopez swings right through it, perhaps foul tip there.
Moses almost gets a hold of it there in that situation. Missed the time. That is a hit right up the middle. See here.
That one comes in low.
Moses loves to work the count up, as I said earlier. He loves full counts. 3-1 is his specialty. Usually gets a ball right down the middle, and he smashes it into right field.
That one's in for a strike, evening the count at 2-2. Wurzburger Lopez rocking the light green gloves there. This team might not have too many wins in the W column, but it does certainly have style. That'll be ball 3, full count.
Moses in his element right now, full count.
Would love to set the table with an on-base situation here. Instead, he drives the ball out to right field. That ball is going to be caught on the run by the Saint right fielder. Nice play there. Good jump on that ball. Hit pretty squarely from Wurzburger Lopez.
Great work there from the right fielder. Oh, St. Stephen's, a hard ball to get to. Shallow right field. Had to run all the way in, as most teams do play Moses quite deep. Now Timmy Albert's at the plate.
That might be Hill Porter. Am I seeing things? I'm seeing number 4 there.
Could be Hill Porter.
Back-to-back lefties for the Maroon to start things off. That'll mess with your head as an opposing pitcher. That ball up and away. We're seeing some patience here for sure. Yep. Fouled off. O'Neill sets. Pitching out of the stretch here, interestingly. That ball up and away. Porter showing some good patience. Here's the pitch. Hit a bit off the hands there. That might be trouble out in center field. The shortstop gets back, but not quite to the ball. A long turn by Porter there at first base, but he sticks around. That will fall in for a hit. Runner at first base, just the one out. Nice piece by Porter. He got a pitch right off the hands, and he managed to muscle it out into center field.
Number 3, P.J. Wolf, slow to get up there on that play, playing shortstop, running all the way out there, trying to get that fly ball. Fortunately, couldn't make the play for St. Stephen's.
You know, Jay, some people, baseball players, outfielders especially, infielders, like to play in days like today where we have such cloud cover. You know, you won't be dealing with any bursts of sunlight. But others say the white sky background can really make that ball disappear. It looked like he may have misjudged that one a little bit. Maybe he heard the footsteps of his center fielder coming in. Either way, the play was not made, and here we have Truman Albright stepping in. Runner goes. Porter is down there, but the throw in plenty of time on one hop to get him, and the Maroon run into an out.
See, one of the weaknesses of this Maroon team is their speed. I mean, Episcopal spends a lot of time running and trying to get through the bases quickly, but they do not possess the same speed that other teams do. A few members of this team, like Thomas, like Moses, and Billy, have a quicker speed to getting around the bases than other players, but Episcopal definitely does not have that advantage. Curious to see why they would steal there on that play. I mean, occasionally you see them make the play where they try and steal a man on first while they have a man on third and try and bait the throw so they can get a run in. But obviously that was not the right situation as Truman hits a ball towards the left side of the field, and that'll be an easy play for the shortstop who will throw it down to first, and that will retire Episcopal. We'll have to come out on defense.
So 1-2 hiccup and 3 inning with the base hit that turned into a caught stealing, and the Saints make quick work of Episcopal there. We head to the top of the second. You know, you had me thinking, Jay, talking about the speed being an issue for the Maroon. I wonder if you think having a track program as large as Episcopal's is a little bit of a two-edged sword here, in the sense that the track stars thrive, but maybe some of the speedsters stay away from the baseball team.
I agree with that. I mean, if we had Ziggy Allen on the baseball
Woo!
field,
Can you imagine?
I mean, running nearly a 4 or 5, I imagine, would be quite speedy going down the baseline, and Episcopal would definitely benefit from that. But of course, he's out there winning state championships. Episcopal has a track star of their own. Essentino Lewis won in the winter state championship.
State champion hurdler.
And that's definitely beneficial for Episcopal. He's one of the faster players on this team. But Episcopal definitely would like more of those track stars, but they just don't have access to them because of the size of this track program. And also, a lot of the fast guys are on the lacrosse team as well, which is also a big group and a big program.
Another big draw.
You know, as we're talking about lacrosse, behind us is the senior day for Episcopal High School. They are also facing St. Stephen's. We have an update about that later on in the program from Brady Hopkins, sideline reporter.
Stay tuned for that. We will definitely be highlighting some of our Episcopal baseball seniors as well as the game goes on. But right now it's the top of the second. Lewis settles in. He delivers the first pitch. A little bit low. That's ball 1. This looks like the pitcher, number 6, Carter O'Neill, the 6th batter. That works out nicely for him. Lewis sets. That time he delivers just a bit high. 2-0 count. Again, that St. Patience is paying off already. That ball drilled into left field, but Timmy Albers is up to it, ranges to his right a bit, and he puts it away. And we got one out.
Timmy Albers doing a lot in this game. Unfamiliar with playing left field due to the shift around of all the players, trying to put Hill Porter at shortstop after Billy Toomey's injury. He's doing a great job so far.
Got a great jump on that ball. Here comes Lewis. That one fouled off right down the middle. Love to see him pounding the zone here, trying to get ahead. Jay, the Episcopal seniors have begun their externship program, an Episcopal tradition, in the month of May. What do you know about some of the seniors on the baseball team and what they're doing for their day jobs these days?
Well, I know Thomas is doing the America 250 IndyCar
that ball
track,
fouled off.
working on the program to try and promote the race, which is going to be interesting, racing through the streets of D.C. in Indy cars, going over 100 miles an hour down the National Mall. That's going to be interesting.
That is wild.
And I think a few of the other players on this team might be joining him. I know Truman is going to be working on his baseball relationship with Kenyon University, where he's committing.
There we go.
And don't know much about what the other seniors are doing, but I have to imagine they're very interesting.
That ball comes in high. It's a 1-1 count. Lewis sets and delivers an off-speed pitch up and away. Doesn't seem to have too much command of that off-speed pitch. He did get the strikeout swinging to end the previous inning, but would love to see that one low in the zone, if anything, in the dirt. Oh, that ball up the middle. That will get through for a base hit. That was Kosla there, number 24, delivering a single.
Hill Porter just couldn't get there and field that ball. Thomas Sigler will have to step up and field it, holding the runner to first base.
We do see some action already in the Saints bullpen. Not sure if that's just an emergency measure or what, but looked like they had a pretty good first inning of pitching from O'Neill. And we may be having a bit of a bullpen game from the Saints here, perhaps. Essentino Lewis settles, and he deals. That ball's popped high in the air towards third base and put away there nicely.
Adam Haddock with the play.
Well done on that one by Haddock. Let's see if Lewis can put away the inning. Keep that runner at first base.
Tito not liking the pitches he's given here, shaking a few of them off. And back to
Throw
first.
over to first, not in time. Not much of a lead there, but perhaps just making sure he's still keeping the pitcher in the back of his mind instead of running rampant. Another lefty here for the Saints. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch. This is the center fielder, number 8, Landon Scott.
A lot of left-handed hitters on this team.
They got a few, don't they?
That one will go low.
In the dirt, gets by Wurzburger Lopez, and the runner advances to second base. Still 2 outs. Not panic mode for the Maroon, but we'll see if they can keep him there.
Does limit their options on what out they can get in a ball that's put in play. Instead of having a force out on second and first, they now only have a force out on first base. So hopefully that doesn't affect Episcopal that much. Moses and Esentino having a little chat on the mound.
Nothing beats a 2-out pep talk. See if it's effective for Lewis. Not too windy today. We've seen a lot of windy days recently on the Holy Hill, but this one a little calmer.
Certainly nice to get a break from it, especially in this weather. Be brutal, 60 degrees and windy.
It's been a bit of a strange spring. That ball swung on a missed inside. Beautiful. The off-speed pitch lands that time. Nicely done by Lewis. It's a 1-2 count. See if he can put him away here with the 2 outs. Scott v. Lewis. Who will reign supreme? Just a bit outside there. Couldn't be squeezed by Wurzburger Lopez. We'll try again.
If I was Esentino Lewis, I would try and put something high and inside, just in the corner of the zone.
It worked before. Perhaps it goes back to that off-speed pitch here. Hill Porter flashing behind the runner at second base.
Low and inside, doesn't work. Gonna load the count up now, 3-2.
Ball gets away from Lewis, but not far enough for the runner to advance. Porter ended up a bit out of position on that play as well. You forgive that a little bit more with a lefty up. You expect a lefty to pull. We'll see how Lewis rises to the occasion here. Full count, 2 outs. Swung on and driven in the air. That one will stay on the infield for Porter. And he puts it away for the 3rd out.
You can see a lot of shuffling there from Hill Porter. And could be what you mentioned earlier about the ball getting lost in the clouds perhaps. I think it all depends on which way the light is coming from the sun that's peeking through the clouds. And if it's under the ball, it might be harder to see. But if it's over the ball, it might be harder to see. But if it's under the ball, it's probably illuminating the bottom, making it easier to see.
Could be useful. Could be useful. We're going to send things over to Brady Hopkins, the junior sensation. He's got a field report for us. Let's hear it, Brady. Always appreciate your help there, Brady. We'll see if Lax can pull out a win against the Saints. Would be sure a nice thing if we could get 2 wins out of the boys' sports here on the Holy Hill. And we head to the bottom of the 2nd here. Cleanup hitter Adam Haddock comes up to the plate. O'Neal stayed in the game despite a little bit of bullpen action for the Saints. We'll see if the Maroon can pounce this time around.
A little bit of Episcopal bullpen action for Hill Porter.
Aha, there we go. Perhaps a little gamesmanship happening. Both teams going early to their bullpens, but not yet to replace their starters. Haddock settles in. That ball low and away. Ball 1, nicely taken.
Episcopal has sent pitchers through all 7 innings before. Brennan Casey, only a few games ago, pitched all 7 innings against Landon. Only allowed 2 runs. Episcopal barely lost 2-1. And a heartbreaker with 2 people on base. And an error almost led to Episcopal keeping the inning alive, but unfortunately they were able to recover.
Still, for a freshman on the mound, that is not too shabby.
Count is 2-0.
O'Neal struggling to find the zone here early. See if Haddock can pounce or wait patiently to get there on first base, make something happen for the Maroon. 4 balls in a row, all sort of low and away there, and Haddock is on first.
So a man on first, resetting the count, a mound visit for St. Stephen's.
What do you think? You think Haddock will be in motion here?
I have to imagine perhaps the coaching staff for Episcopal might want to send him on some sort of diversion play here. I mean, there's not many people covering second. Playing a little bit of distance.
Another one low and in there, this time to the lefty Timmy Albers.
But I don't think I would picture Adam Haddock trying to steal second base here.
Taking a healthy lead. Does not go. That ball just a bit outside. 2-0 count to Albers.
Timmy not even giving the dignity of looking like he wanted to swing at that pitch.
He may be of the Ted Williams school. Take the first strike you see in the game. Not so. He swings and connects on that one. A diving play in left field. Incredible work to put out Albers. Haddock makes it safely back to first base. That looked like it had extra bases all over it, but not so, says the Saint left fielder. He laid out.
Quinn Arenda of the freshman class making that spectacular play.
Not too shabby. Flexing his muscles afterwards. He's a proud man.
Essentino Lewis now up to bat.
See if he can help himself here. That's strike 1. Albers did well to pounce on that pitch. Bad luck. Here comes Lewis. Let's see if his luck is any better. That one a bit high. Looked like it might have been off speed. Haddock has not been running so far. We'll see if he makes a move here in this at-bat.
With 1 out, I have to imagine that Episcopal might be a little bit more aggressive on the bases here as Essentino rips
Lewis
one up the
drives
middle.
it. That one's going to get down for a base hit. Haddock rounds second, but goes back to second base. Probably wise. Strong throw there from the left-handed center fielder. But Lewis has a nice hit to get things going for the Maroon.
So now a man on first and second for Episcopal, 1 out. And it looks like we will have Brennan Casey up, the freshman, probably looking for a base hit into left field. Shallow left field would probably be the play, as the shortstop's playing kind of aggressive on Adam Haddock at second.
Strike 1 there right down the middle. Nicely done from O'Neal to get ahead. See if Casey can lace one somewhere and get these runners moving. Episcopal's first runner in scoring position of the day. Still just the 1 out. Another good pitch. That one a little further inside. 0-2 count. You've got to advance these runners. Even if you can't get a hit, you got to get those guys to second and third at the very least. Hope you can get 2 with an RBI single next. He swings and fouls the ball off right back against the fence.
So still 0-2 count for Brennan Casey, staying alive. Definitely a lot of good pitches coming from the freshman pitcher to try and get out of this one.
Another foul ball. Good job wasting away some good pitches there by Casey.
Brennan Casey taking his time getting back in the box, getting in rhythm for this pitch.
Checked his swing. Did he go around? He did, and that is strike 3. Nice little nibbler of an off-speed pitch. Started in the zone, ended up outside of it, but Casey could not hold up the swing, and there are now 2 outs. It will be left to Drew Littlejohn to try to plate these runners.
Brennan Casey definitely disagreed with that call. You could see him looking back at the umpire as he went back to the dugout, and without a first base umpire, it's definitely hard to see who went around and by how much.
Big swing there by Littlejohn to get behind 0-1. Looked to me like the home plate umpire made that call on his own. Maybe could have checked with his field umpire, but like you said, position at second base, not too easy. Okay, O'Neill seems to have discovered Littlejohn's poison there, up and in, 0-2 count there. And there are 2 outs. Let's see if Littlejohn can make something happen here. Swing and a miss, up and in all the way. They got the scouting report on him. That is a strikeout back-to-back to end the inning, and we will head to the top of the third. The Maroons 0, the Saints 0. Pitcher's duel going on here.
Both pitchers able to get out of a sticky situation with 2 runners on base at first and second. Esentino doing in the first inning, and St. Stephen's, St. Agnes' pitcher, doing it in the bottom of the second. We will now move on to the top of the third inning.
Lewis getting some coaching there by the field umpire, perhaps about licking his hand. Sometimes that is a stipulation. The umpires don't want too much action going on. Not too cold today that we need to be, blowing on your hand, but sometimes they try to limit. You don't want any spitballs going around here. As always, we have the campus dogs absolutely frolicking to our right out here in center field, kind of between the bowl and the baseball diamond.
Always exciting to see the campus dogs out and about.
That is Nevy Thompson. New front runner for handsomest dog on campus.
As I live on Hawkston dorm, I see a lot of dogs on the dorm. Miss Gallagher, who's the dorm head, has Baxter, and Mr. Thompson, of course, with Nevy sometimes occasionally on duty.
There we go, right across the way. You've got Ginger Carmody, Rev C's Pooch. And we are just about ready to get underway in the top of the third here. Jay, looking back on the year, we're a month from the finish line here. How do you think Episcopal and the Saints have stacked up? We won the Seminary Hill Cup, but what about the other matchups? Where do you think we're tilting at this point in the year in terms of supremacy on the hill?
Well, if I'm being honest, beat them at the Seminary Hill Cup. Kind of close, but still beat them nonetheless. Football was an absolute smackdown. They lost 40-7.
Oof.
In the Sleepy Thompson tournament, Episcopal not only beat them in the regular season, but also in their own tournament at home at St. Stephen's.
Ball 1 to start things off for Lewis there.
And, of course, talking about lacrosse right now, I believe Episcopal's in the lead with Gus Taylor scoring 2 goals, leading Episcopal's scoring. So it's definitely been dominant. I don't know exactly what's going on in the tennis courts right now. It's where St. Stephen's is battling the Maroon tennis team. So curious to see what will happen out of those matchups. But I must say, Episcopal is definitely winning against St. Stephen's all time this year.
We'll take it. We are back to the top of the order here with P.J. Wolf, the right-hander for the Saints. See if Lewis can deliver. Steerike. Got to come all the way back. It's a 3-1 count here. Steerike 2. Here he is climbing back up that ladder. Let's see if Lewis can come all the way back and put him away.
As a batter, you might be getting into your head here. And Tino throws it down. That'll be a walk. So St. Stephen's will have a man on first. And Santino will start off the third inning with a walk.
Here comes Leonardo, the number 2 batter. He flew out to left field first time up. We've had some action on the base paths, but no runs so far. Controversial call in the first inning. Kind of brought back a run almost for the Saints. Let's see if Wolf is in motion here. Lewis sets and steps off wisely, perhaps. Wolf getting some ideas over there. Time is called. Now Lewis ready to go. Ooh, hit his spot, but just off the plate.
Good attempt there from Moses to try and frame that call, but I think it's just a little bit too much outside to get the generosity of the umpire.
Throw to first. Runner gets back in time. Good check there from Lewis. That might have been the B move, but still did the job.
Not much of a lead from the runner on first. With only a few more feet, I think he would have got him there. Great throw.
Wurzburger Lopez sets up outside again. Another throw over to first, not in time.
Tino letting the runner know that he is keeping an eye on him, even though his back is facing towards him.
Perhaps trying to help his catcher out there. Runner does not go, and that's a ball.
This will be 2-0. No outs for Essentino. Man on first.
Leonardo would love to get this runner over, hit the ball to the right side of the infield. Perhaps another throw over to first base. That one was awfully close, right into the runner's ribs. Albright snagged it and applied the tag, but not in time.
This runner on first has got to be getting tired of these pickoff attempts.
He's certainly getting dirty, that's for sure. That one yoinked. Wurzburger Lopez's throw goes into center field. The runner sees it and turns. He wisely saw that he was going to be safe there, did not slide, which allowed him to quickly make that turn. Sigler quick to return it to the infield to prevent the run from scoring, but nonetheless, the Episcopal defense continues to throw the ball around a little bit, and we have a runner at third with nobody out. It is a 3-0 count to the batter. Up and in, that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks to start the inning. We got runners at first and third. The classic high school baseball dilemma. Do you throw through? Do you have your pitcher cut it off? Do you have your shortstop come in and cut it off? Does the runner try to kind of go halfway and turn back in an effort to get that run to score? If this is going to be a low-scoring game, everyone could count. Let's see how Lewis and Wurzburger Lopez handle this one. Pitch is delivered. Runner's not going. That ball's fouled back. 0-1. Love to see Lewis getting ahead there.
I would definitely imagine that the Saints will send the runner on first, trying to bait Moses into throwing the ball so that the plate is open. Now, Episcopal ran a trick play earlier in the season in Florida where they pretended to throw the ball to second, but instead threw it to the pitcher and caught the runner looking at third. And
just a bit low, but the runner goes and gets there to second base as Wurzburger Lopez can't hold on. So now we have runners at second and third. Jay, you are an impressive reporter. If you were there in Florida to track it down, you know, go to the ends of the earth to research this squad, prep for every game.
Do spend a lot of my time preparing for these games, finding the previous matchups, looking at the stats from games before.
His homepage is Max Preps, people. That ball high. 2-0 count here. This is Landsberg for the Saints. Ninth grader hitting third. That is impressive. That must be some power there. That one a little bit low. We might be close to a full bases situation. Still nobody out here. Again, the Maroon have been able to navigate some difficulty and keep runs off the board. But that might be ending here with 2 runs in scoring position already and still nobody out. That ball is popped up on the infield. First baseman Truman Albright calls but is unable to secure it. That runner will go from third. He got a late start, but he made it all the way home. And the first run of the game comes through. And E3 allows that run to score. The trail runner stayed at second base wisely there. But now we got a 1-0 ball game and still nobody out. It almost looked to me like the runner at third there was tagging up. That is not the play. You certainly want to be a few feet off the base in case that ball falls to give yourself a head start. Very unlikely to tag up unless there's some sort of egregious fall on the infield with a catch like that.
I have to imagine that he might have thought that that ball was already caught and he didn't want to expend the energy taking the lead off the base because it was an infield fly. But he, of course, did not take into the factor that it is cloudy like this, which can provide some challenges when getting the ball, as you said previously. And, you know, Episcopal feeling that now, as there is a man on second and first.
Cleanup hitter coming up. That, of course, is Lieberman. We'll see how he handles it here. See if Esentino Lewis can keep those runners stuck.
Though we don't see them often, there's a triple play opportunity for Episcopal.
Ooh, that would certainly be a momentum shift. Outfield playing a pull here against the right-hander. Lewis sets. And he delivers. That ball fouled off, strike one. Hill Porter peeking behind the runner at the beginning of that play, perhaps trying to sneak one.
Can't imagine Episcopal would risk it and try and pick a runner off at second base. If that ball goes behind, it could put another runner on third base, and that is not what Episcopal needs. That ball goes low.
1-1 count.
Tino really trying to settle in here.
Here comes Lewis's pitch. Good pitch right on the inside corner. 1-2 count.
Strikeout would definitely help Esentino out mentally.
Love to put yourself in a position where a double play ball could get you out of the inning, so a strikeout here would be prime. Lewis delivers just a little bit low and outside. That's going to be a 2-2 count.
He's been trying to get these hitters to bite on that low and outside ball, and it just hasn't been working today.
Hill Porter again checking on that runner at second base. That one delivered up and in. Full count. Lewis seems to be maintaining his confidence even with some control struggles early in this game. Again, the scoreboard's not too dire, just the 1-0 here. Lewis delivers. Fouled off. That ball yoinked foul on the pull side.
So still 3-2. No outs for Episcopal after that great foul. Definitely staying alive. And in the batter's box is St. Stephen's.
Let's see what Lieberman can do here. That ball roped into left field. Hit hard enough, they might have a play at the plate. In fact, the runner doesn't even make the turn, really. That a hard hit single from Lieberman, and everybody moves up a base.
In the Episcopal scouting report, I have to imagine it mentions the cannons of arms that these outfielders have.
Timmy Albers known for his time on the mound out there. It pays to have pitchers all around your outfield roster there. Here comes a coach's visit to the mound. We'll see if Lewis will live to fight another day here. Looks like he's going to be giving up the ball, and Hill Porter will be coming in to pitch. Lewis will not get a ton of credit for that 2+ innings of work, but he did yeoman's work there to keep the runs off the board. He leaves with the bases loaded, and Hill Porter comes in to try to shut things down. Of course, in the high school baseball realm, no rest for the weary. Lewis switches gloves, and he will be heading right out there to the field. So we've got our first pitching change of the game here. Looks like Lewis will come out to play left field. Timmy Albers shifts into infield. Has Albers been playing much infield this season, Jay?
Can't say he has. And that'll be an interesting thing to see as the three outfielders come to group up. Drew Littlejohn, Esentino Lewis, and Thomas Sigler. Younger outfield now with 2 sophomores and only 1 senior. That senior being Thomas Sigler. And now an interesting group of infielders as we have, I believe Timmy Albers might be playing shortstop.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Albers. So here we have an update from the lacrosse game. Episcopal tipping ahead just barely here at halftime. EHS 5, St. Stephen's 4. Tight game going on in the Lax Field on Hummel Bowl.
Time winding down with only 9 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And it is, in fact, so we have a bit of a shuffle here. We got Adam Haddock moving to cover shortstop. Looks like it's Brennan Casey shifting over to third base, and then Timmy Albers coming in from left field to play second base. As the JV lacrosse team passes by behind us, you may be able to hear the hubbub. Certainly the most hyped team on campus, led by Coach Mo, led by Coach Young. They are fired up. Hill Porter settles in. We've got the bases loaded and nobody out here. Not the easiest situation to enter for. He will pitch out of the windup. The first pitch gets away, and the run will come home on the wild pitch.
And now there's runners on second and third, and St. Stephen's scores another one. The score will be St. Stephen's 2, Episcopal 0.
Not how you wanted your outing to start if you're Porter, but he can settle in from here. That run, of course, is charged to Essentino Lewis. Here comes Porter, number 4. He delivers. That ball could be played home. Holy moly, no force there.
And
Runner is safe. That is a mental error by the Episcopal High School Maroon. Wurzburger Lopez applied the tag to the plate, not to the runner. And as a result, the run comes through to score. Frustrating to see that. You got exactly the ground ball you wanted. And just a little bit of a mental mishap there. That's okay. They will settle in. Now we've got runners at first and third. Still nobody out, unfortunately. That ball delivered inside, ball 1.
Rare mental error there from Moses. And Episcopal still 3 outs from getting their chance to bat.
Wurzburger Lopez just named a prefect last week. In fact, he is a rising student leader. You know he'll shake that one off and get right back out there. 2-0 count. Another one inside. The runner takes second base. No throw from Wurzburger Lopez, but that ball does get away, and now the runner will head home. Holy moly, you hate to see the mental mistakes stacking up. Run comes home. That makes it 3-0. Excuse me, 4-0.
That is definitely not what you wanted to see coming in to pitch. Hill Porter are going to be in a tough mental situation now after allowing those runs to score.
So all 3 of those runs go on Lewis's ledger. He leaves with 4 earned runs on the day. And Porter will have his clean slate now to try to step it up. Beautiful fastball there right down the middle to get back in the strike column.
We need to get 3 outs to change the end.
Ball 3. The pitcher O'Neill trying to do himself a solid here. See if he can get that run home from second base. Big lead at second base by number 22. And that's going to be a walk for O'Neill. Runners now at first and second. Still no outs on the inning. This is the kind of inning that just kicks you in the gut. We will get a pinch runner there for the pitcher. Courtesy move. Porter would love to get 1 or 2 outs on this next play. Let's see what Kosla can do. He ripped a single last time up, his first plate appearance of the game.
EHS, still no outs. And taking a lot of time is St. Stephen's here.
I believe the umpires are working on tracking that pinch runner. Not the highest sense of urgency among the umpiring crew, but that's okay. They've called a good game so far.
And I would like to mark the conclusion of the girls' junior varsity lacrosse game over on Cox Field across the way. The score was Episcopal 8, Holton Arms 6.
Woo!
Episcopal victory.
You love to see that. Great for the JV girls. That ball bunted and foul. Couldn't quite get on top of that one. See if he's still bunting. That Episcopal JV girls lax team led by Coach Westervelt, Coach Howard. They sure know how to have a good time building up our girls lax program here.
Curious to see both chemistry teachers with a lot of chemistry teaching
Ooh.
girls junior varsity lacrosse.
Love to hear it. That ball right down the middle swung through. He was not bunting there with 1 strike. Now he's got 2 strikes. We'll see what the approach is for St. Stephen's. Still runners at first and second, nobody out.
So a bunt here and a foul ball would mean that the runner would be out. So choosing not to bunt, and the ball is high and to the right.
1-2 count now. Hill Porter working quick. Trying to get some momentum for the Maroon, now down 4-0.
Hill looking down at the call. Likes it.
That ball drilled up the middle. Oh, a double play by Albers. He tries to make the triple. That was quick work by Timmy Albers, not only to catch that ball, but to have the wherewithal to step right on the base. Quite a momentum swing. There are immediately 2 outs.
A quick and athletic double play there from Timmy Albers. Leaves 1 man on first. Definitely a way better situation than before. And now Hill Porter only has 1 out to get before Episcopal can get their chance to bat.
That was exactly what the doctor ordered. Now that ball drilled to right field. Little John makes the play. That's the end of the inning. 2 pitches, 3 outs. Porter gets out of it, and we are coming up in the bottom of the 3rd with the score Saints 4, Episcopal 0. Good job getting out there by Hill.
Episcopal regrouping outside of the dugout. Probably going to have a discussion on what they want to do here on offense. I have to imagine that at the beginning of the at-bats, coach is going to emphasize that they want to get on base and just try and make contact with the ball, get a few singles, maybe a double in there, and try and apply pressure to this freshman pitcher who probably hasn't had a lot of time to adjust in tough situations because of his lack of time playing high school baseball. And using that pressure, they could exploit it in order to form a rally and get a few more runs than St. Stephen's or tying.
Plus a nice long inning for the Saints at bat there, which sometimes does rattle the pitcher if he's been off the mound for a good stretch. Perhaps the Maroon can use that to their advantage here. We shall see. It should be 9-1-2 in the batting order.
I believe Episcopal hasn't even gone through their entire batting order yet. It's Thomas Sigler stepping up to the plate for Episcopal.
See if Sigler can act like a second leadoff, as last hitter is sometimes termed. Get himself on base, cause some havoc, and get some runs on the board for the Maroon.
As I said in introducing this matchup, Thomas Sigler boasts a very high on-base percentage, I believe, sitting around the 700 mark. So it's 70% of his at-bats he's on base, and he'll bunt there for a moment.
Bunting to try to get on. He waves that one out of the zone. That was smart by the pitcher to start him off with off speed. 0-1 count here. Again, bottom of the 3rd on a gloomy day on the Holy Hill. Sigler at bat. That one delivered low, 1-1.
Thomas, who normally wears number 5, is wearing number 6 in the white jerseys today.
A little unconventional, perhaps trying to shake things up a little bit. Wurzburger Lopez on deck, the top of the order almost ready. Drilled up the middle, but the shortstop is there. Takes quite a hop and thrown to first for the first out. That is a 6-3 put out, and we are back to the top of the order here.
Thomas trying his best there to get on first. Unfortunately, just a little bit too slow, and that dribbler up the middle was unable to get past the shortstop for St. Stephen's. P.J. Wolf with a great fielding and throw to first.
So the Maroons send the top of their order in the form of Moses Wurzburger Lopez up there against O'Neill. O'Neill delivers just a little bit high.
Righty on lefty matchup here. See what Moses can do.
He popped out to right field in the first inning. Perhaps looking to pull again here. Nice pitch, 1-1.
Moses staying calm, trying to keep his composure in the situation.
That ball outside, catcher tried to frame it, but not quite. 2-1 count.
Both of these catchers, Moses included, they're both near around the plate right now. One in the batter's box, one just behind it. They're doing a great job framing so far as Moses fouls one off. So the count will be 2-2. Both these catchers been doing their best, trying to get a few generous strike calls. A few of them successful. I think Moses has been doing a better job today so far on that, but both catchers doing quite well.
Oh, that one bends in for strike 3, looking a beautiful off-speed pitch. Haven't seen too many of those on the outer half of the plate. 2 outs now for the Saints. And in steps Hill Porter, now the pitcher for the Maroon, number 4, the 2-hitter. Let's see what he can do to get things started. Another left-handed hitter. First pitch high and outside, ball 1. O'Neill sets and delivers. That one up and in, ball 2. Porter being patient. One thing I admire about this Episcopal squad is they really don't press. They may have been a little pushed around in that last half inning, but keeping their patience at the plate. That'll be strike 1, 2-1. That said, the body language in the dugout, as you see there, a little bit low. They could use a shot in the arm here. Let's see if Porter can deliver it. Out and away, that is a 3-1 count now.
Hitter's advantage for Hill Porter. Coming in this matchup, Episcopal was definitely high energy. Saw it in their warm-ups and also in practice yesterday during their hitting practice. JV was taking the field because of their game against the St. Stephen's JV team, which ended up in, I believe, a St. Stephen's victory.
Ooh.
And after that pitch that was way out to the right and outside, we'll have a man on first in the way of Hill Porter after that walk.
So Porter gets on, and up comes Truman Albright, the Kenyon commit. Porter adjusts his oven mitt there, popular among the major league players, trying to avoid getting stomped on. Albright delivers a long fly ball, center fielder ranging over. He does not get there, and that will pop over the wall. Very fortunate break for the Saints there because that saved a run. Porter was sure to score on that one. Instead, we'll have runners at second and third base. A great scoring opportunity here, even with 2 outs for the Maroon, and up comes Adam Haddock.
Truman Albright, the best hitter for this Episcopal team. It's one of the reasons why he's going to Kenyon.
Easy power there. That was a smooth swing. Center fielder just couldn't reach it, perfectly placed. And that ball's going to fall in for at least 1. 2 RBIs. Here we go. Haddock's ball gets by the right fielder. He's going to take at least 3. And 2 runs come in, and Episcopal has struck right back.
And we were just talking about the lack of momentum for Episcopal and their dugout looking down and dejected, but it's quite the opposite now. Episcopal, with those 2 runs, have stolen back the momentum against St. Stephen's.
And up comes Timmy Albers with the runner still on third, 2 outs. So Episcopal capitalizes twice with 2 outs here. See if they can keep the magic going. Just what the doctor ordered from Albright and Haddock back to back. Albers takes a ball outside to start the count.
That is not the mistake that St. Stephen's coaching staff wanted to see out of their right fielder. And that cost them 2 runs. They would have already had 1 scored, but I have to imagine that the runner on third and the runner from second scoring was not on the scorecard.
See what Albers can do here. That ball low and in. He's got that flame kind of fire bat going on. See if it's got some heat in it. Ball outside. That's going to be a quick walk.
And Timmy will make his way to first base, so runner on first and third, and we will have our first mound visit for St. Stephen's.
And of course, up steps Essentino Lewis for the Maroon. Baseball is beautiful this way. You can't really script it, but Estantino Lewis gave up 4 runs in the game, and here he is with 2 runners on base. The opportunity with an RBI hit to put the Maroon right back even. Worth noting that the sports media squad, anchored by so many strong Episcopal seniors, all of whom now are doing double time. They have entered their May externship unit. They are working full-time jobs during the day. By night, they are calling baseball games, running cameras for lax. They are all over the place here on sports media, putting on a show for you, the viewers. And we salute these seniors who are working hard. The report from North Dorm last night, Jay, was that more seniors than any other night this year went to bed early. They were wiped out from their work days.
Have to imagine it's true. A range of jobs on this Episcopal sports media staff, from working for their local congressman in Capitol Hill to taking pictures for realtors in Old Town.
Ooh. That ball low. Estantino Lewis up 1-0 in the count already. Runners at first and third, still 2 outs. Lewis would love to deliver here. Up and in, 2-0. He is in the driver's seat. Here comes Lewis again, facing down O'Neill for the second time. That ball delivered. And he's going to make it to first. Was that a bunt or just a bit of a check swing? I think he may have bunted it.
That was a bunt.
Brilliant
St. Stephen's
move.
not expecting that. Estantino Lewis shies away from the bunt normally on these matchups, but that works out for Episcopal, letting another run score. The score is now St. Stephen's 4, Episcopal 3. The count will reset because of the new batter, and we'll have a man on first and third still, Timmy replacing the runner on third, and Estantino replacing Timmy on first.
And Brendan Casey comes up. That's a heads-up play by the runner from first, Timmy, to make it all the way to third base on that bunt. Strike one delivered.
See what the freshman Brendan Casey can do in this situation. Would love to see a base hit to left field, shallow left field, allowing Timmy to score and tying this game up.
Runner goes. The ball's delivered to right field. And the play is made. The inning is over, but the Maroon get 3 on the inning, and we are going to send things over to our old pal, Mr. Brady Hopkins, who's got another update from Lacrosse World. Brady, how you feeling, my friend? Enough of my page to stage English class. He had to stop by office hours, even on our off day for a class meeting. You just love to see that above and beyond attitude, and that's what he's known for as a reporter, as a student, as a friend. Top of the fourth here for the Maroon, and St. Stephen's will be sending up their number 9 hitter. Again, the score is 4-3. Saints still in the lead, but not by much.
Yeah, as we were talking about hardworking and going above and beyond, just want to quickly shout out the members of the sports media crew who's been doing a great job so far and will continue to do a great job as we shift over to the second half crew. Ryan Gallagher, Margie Whitaker, Eliza Hicks, Marin Condre, Nobles Press, Josie Rogers, Julie Caulfield, Brady Hopkins, Min Nguyen, Wiley Salone, and of course, outside staff doing his internship is Charles Fisher, senior, and then Mr. Biondi to my right on the play-by-play, and Coach David, of course, for facilitating this great afternoon option.
First pitch up and away for ball 1, and we are underway here in the top of the fourth. Jay, it's been a season of growth for sports media. Any particular highlights or lowlights you want to shout out from the season?
I'd have to say that the low light would definitely be the 93, 94 degree lacrosse game that we had to cover. Definitely very hot. It was a girls varsity lacrosse game, and Found myself struggling in the heat. Sun was beating down on the sports media crew.
3-0 count here, and that's just you sitting in the booth. Imagine the players out there running their little hearts out in 93-degree heat. Hill delivers a strike there to get, what do we got? 3-1 count here. Check swing there, but he went around. That's 3-2 full count. One thing you may not know as a viewer of sports media is that in many of these games we switch over our crew halfway through. So we have all new camera folks, all new directors, all new graphics people. Hopefully relatively seamless on your end, but we are cycling in some rock stars, seniors and juniors, and even a sophomore on this crew, maybe a couple sophomores. Hill Porter sets, full count. That ball is drilled into center field. Sigler got a beat on it, and he made the catch. And just like that, the first out belongs to the Maroon.
Thomas hopping into the catch there.
A bit unsure at the last second, it looked like, but he made the play. And now we're back to the top of the order. P.J. Wolf coming up here for the Saints. We've said it before, we'll say it again. You'd love to, after you just scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the previous inning, you'd love to put up a 0 here. Hill Porter gets ahead, strike 1 there on Wolf. That ball yoinked a little bit low and outside, gets away from Wurzburger Lopez.
I'll do this for ball and this for strike. It's the bottom of the 4th.
There's Porter looking good in his all-white uniform. He sets and delivers just a bit outside.
What inning is it? It's the top of the 4th. Yeah.
Hill Porter working like a maniac out there. Lickety split. That ball is popped on the infield. Let's see who'll get it. Albright calls it, but the ball bounces off his glove, and the unfortunate convergence of infielders meant that P.J. Wolf was able to make it all the way to second base. Another E3 there to get him on base.
Another unfortunate infield fly for Truman Albright. That's his second miss of today.
He made that play on the left side of the infield. That he had to range all the way across. You would have loved to see one, either the shortstop or the second baseman, see that someone was under that one and back up to second base to see if they could get the runner out on a throw there. Unfortunately, that play was not made, and Wolf is there at second base. Low and inside dugout by Wurzburger Lopez. This is Leonardo, the 2-hitter up.
One ball.
1 out, 1 ball. Albert showing a little love to the runner at second base, trying to keep him close. Porter delivers a little bit low and outside. Again, 2-0. Again, we've got 1 out on the inning. Let's see if Porter can keep that runner right there at second base. Not a bad pitch, just a smidge low.
So 3-0. Hill Porter working quickly, throws 3 balls. He'll have to throw one in or risk the walk here, and I'm sure he doesn't want another runner on base with only 1 out.
And that's exactly what's going to happen is Leonardo will take his trot to first base. The one silver lining for the Maroon, you do now have the double play kind of available here. We'll see if Porter can get a ground ball. Still just the 1 out, runners at first and second, and it is a 1-run ball game. Porter delivering from the stretch. Beautiful pitch right on the outside black of the plate.
Great strike there. St. Stevens has been unable to hit that pitch all game today from both Essentino and Hill.
Taking his sweet time here, maybe having a little disagreement about which pitch call here, but Porter sets. And he pulls that one. That will go to the backstop. Both runners will advance.
So now instead of having an opportunity for a double play or a force out on first, third, or second, as some players would say, all square bases, Episcopal now only has a force out on first.
Again, they'd love to cut that run down, prevent it from scoring. They're both runs. He's overthrown a little bit, pulling it across his body. That ball goes wide.
The count will be 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike after that wild pitch and that ball there.
Can hear the echoes of another lacrosse goal being scored by the Maroon. Another one pulled across his body. That seems to be his bugaboo today. It's a 3-1 count. Runners at second and third. Porter choosing to deliver from the windup here. That ball fouled off, sort of a check swing there, and the count will go full.
Interesting move. I feel like if he would have kept that swing, he might have gotten a hold of it and brought it across towards right field, or towards left field, sorry, and that would have been very beneficial for the Saints.
Beautiful off-speed pitch for a called strike 3 there. Porter gets his man, and there are now 2 outs. Runners stick at second and third. Great time for a strikeout there from the young senior.
Hill relieved of the pressure of having to get 2 outs now. So the force out would do it at first. No need to risk throwing it home or to second.
Number 4 delivers again. Just a bit high.
That St. Stephen's player on that at-bat before, when caught straight out looking, clearly thought it was a ball and began his walk to first. The umpire had to remind him he did not call the balls and strikes and send him right back to the dugout as that ball goes high.
Ooh, a check swing there. Did not go around. Just a smidge high again. Number 11, Luke Leonardo there at second base. He's getting plenty of lead. That's okay. He is not the lead runner. That ball is in for a strike.
I believe the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike, if I'm not mistaken, after the check swing, which was appealed.
Again, Porter working very fast, even though he's working from the windup here. That ball drilled to right field. That may get over Littlejohn's head. He is able to make the play, and that's the end of the inning. The runner stuck at second and third. Excellent job by Porter to extricate himself from trouble there. And we head to the bottom of the 4th. Still, the score is St. Stephen's 4, Episcopal High School 3.
Close game here. Episcopal getting out of that situation, which was beginning to look like only a few innings ago. When the bases were loaded, Episcopal had to send for the bullpen and get out Hill Porter. And he's been doing a great job so far, not letting Episcopal falter and allow a few more runs to go in.
So we are heading to the bottom of the 4th, and we are also headed to our pal Brady Hopkins. Let's hear from you, Brady. How's it going over there in Lax World? In the second half of this game, who's got the edge?
Well, I have to imagine that Episcopal comes in with a little bit of momentum after getting out of that tough situation in the inning before, or in the top of that inning of the 5th, and then also, you know, Episcopal coming in after that triple and those few runs batted in to bring them back into this game. And also being at home helps as well. You have a few parents and students watching this game from behind the plate in the stands. And, of course, being at your own field helps. So Episcopal, I feel like, is definitely in control of this game right now. But it all depends on what happens here in this offensive possession, I would like to say, for this offensive at-bat.
New pitcher coming in here for the Saints. O'Neal shifts over to second base. Looks like that might be Quinn Renda. I've got a confirmation on that. Coming in onto the mound.
Bullpen pitcher for Episcopal was dominant. Let's see if the same can be said about the St. Stephen's one.
I apologize. That is not Renda. It looks like it might be Aiden Hallett, perhaps. We'll see if we can get one of our cameras a little close up on that number out there. Pitcher's number.
Getting some good shots of the catcher here. He's been doing a great job so far this game. He's got Little John leading off here for the Maroon and Thomas Sigler on deck.
So 8-9-1 coming up for the Maroon. That is number 3. Apologize. Number 3, PJ Wolf comes in to pitch.
He's been making several plays in the field. Had some big hits during that rally of an inning that St. Stephen's had where they scored their 4 runs.
He delivers low to start the at-bat.
Skipping the ball towards the plate. So 0 outs and 1 ball, no strikes.
Bottom of the 4th inning here. Another one delivered outside. That ball right back to the pitcher. He'll take it himself. Quick out there for Little John. And Thomas Sigler steps up, the senior sensation.
Thomas was almost the start of that Episcopal rally just an inning ago after he sent a ground ball up the middle, fielded by P.J. Wolf, who's now on the mound, and thrown to first.
That ball delivered low. Sigler already ahead in the at-bat 1-0. Here we have the stars of the softball team crossing in front of us. Annabelle and Cece and all these just talented youngsters out here. Dominated by freshmen, this squad, it looks like.
Thomas looking for a pitch that he wants.
Just a bit low there. Nice eye by Sigler. Wolf deals a strike on that one.
I believe that'll be the first strike of the at-bat. Could be 3-1 if I'm not mistaken. Thomas ahead here still. It's a free swing. He will not take it, and he will take the walk. Going down to first base is Thomas Sigler, and adding to that on-base percentage.
Just like you predicted earlier in the game, Big Bro takes a walk. And Episcopal's got a runner on first base for the top of the order. Again, that is Moses Wurzberger Lopez up. Big swing through the first pitch. That is strike 1. Wolf hoping for a quick inning here, but just the 1 out, 1 runner at first base. Walks continue to kill. Sigler not going. That ball just a little bit up and in. 2-0 count. Excuse me, that is a 1-1 count. Wurzberger Lopez swung through the first. Runner goes, throw. Not in time or not held on to. Umpire not making any sort of signal. But Sigler is in there safely. And the shortstop comes up hobbling a little bit there.
Could be a big injury for St. Stephen's. Definitely don't want your shortstop with limited mobility. And Thomas with a successful steal there. Could look to third, but I assume with a right-handed pitcher that might not be the move.
That is Lucas Leonardo there at second. Lucas, excuse me. Taking that hit. And Wurzberger Lopez settles in. That ball bends just around the outside of the plate. It is a 2-1 count now.
umpire positioned in between second and third base could be blocking Thomas Sigler's view of the plate here. Could have play a factor on whether or not he sees the pitcher looking to pick him off. Could be interesting.
And that ball up and away as well, 3-1. The umpires do allow you as the base runner, the infielder, to move them a little bit within reason, but it doesn't look like Sigler has taken that opportunity yet. Perhaps he likes being hidden a little bit behind, maybe do a little misdirection for the catcher. Sigler, threatened to take off, and that ball's fouled off by Wurzburger Lopez down the left field line.
Could be looking to get the catcher a little bit more antsy than normal and eager to pop up and make a throw, which could lead him to drop the ball off of a pitch and give Thomas a free base.
2-2 count now.
That ball
low. Excuse me, that was a full count. Now we've got a walk on our hands, first and second base.
So now runners on first and second. Thomas Sigler on second, Moses on first, two of the faster players in this Episcopal roster. And up at the plate is
We got Hill Porter here to help himself.
Hill Porter, who I believe had a base hit into right field last at bat. I could be mistaken.
He walked last time up.
Still got on base nonetheless.
Came around to score, helping his own cause there.
One of the two RBIs off the triple, I imagine. Would love to see Thomas and Moses steal two bases here and free up the pressure on the Maroon to not cause a double play.
There, he threatened to go, Sigler did, but that is in for a called strike on the up and out part of the plate.
That ball looped around and back down into the strike zone, going high and back down lower.
Oh, that ball gets away. Sigler was on the front foot already. He and Wurzburger Lopez will advance. Wild pitch there.
Textbook movement there from Episcopal base runners. Just what you want to see in that situation. So now Hill Porter has first base all to himself.
Get these 2 runs in and Episcopal's ahead. We'll see if Porter can do it. That ball fouled off.
Hill staying alive in this at-bat. Trying his best not to cause an out for the Maroon and put a little bit more pressure on this Maroon offense.
Albright, who had that booming double last time up, looming on deck here. Porter drills the ball to first base. The first baseman's going to have to take that to first. He does barely get there, but a run comes in. Nicely done by Porter. The game is tied.
Thomas Sigler scoring the tying run for Episcopal. The score is Episcopal 4, St. Stephen's 4.
Little bit of small ball there from Porter, the pitcher. And we are back to squared away. It's basically a 0-0 game, even though the scoreboard says 4-4. Here comes Truman Albright. Episcopal would love nothing more than to put up a crooked number here. Albright again with that booming double to left center field last time up. We'll see what he can do here against Wolf. Ball bounced in. Wurzburger Lopez took a look but decided against it. Catcher kept it in front of him nicely. Albright settles in. And Wolf delivers from the windup. Oh, almost hit him on the inside part of the plate.
Truman now with the advantage in the count gets to play a little bit more aggressive. That's not what you want to see if you're a St. Stephen's pitcher. Could belt one towards left field once again, and maybe it might go out this time. Very close was his last hit, and he swings for the fences there, and it'll be a foul tip.
Could see on his face he really missed that one. Hoping for a better outcome as always. We'll see if he can make it happen here. Two outs here. Albright delivers a ground ball towards third base. Let's see if they can make the play. They do, and that is the end of the inning. So the Maroons squeak across one, but that's all they get. Albright grounds out 5-3, and off we go to the top of the 5th.
Hey, I'm doing an interview.
Again, the score is 4-4 here.
Because that run didn't count because it was an out.
Okay, we're going to send things over to our pal Brady Hopkins with a campus celebrity here. Brady, who do you got with you? What an honor to be graced by the man himself, Jack Grace here. A legend. Not too many interview subjects take the microphone into their own hands, but of course he does. That's why he's known as not only best dressed, but also class clown in the senior superlatives. Again, we've got a 4-4 ball game here. Top of the 5th. This is Mr. Trenton, number 22. Kai Trenton up the lefty. That ball bounces off Wurzburger Lopez.
2 consecutive wild pitches for Hill Porter.
Umpire will give Wurzburger Lopez a moment to walk that off, perhaps. So these teams, Jake, sort of at the bottom of the standings in the IAC, unfortunately, right? I believe they might have mirrored records of 2-10, give or take.
This is true. 2-10 in play in Virginia. Now in Florida, Episcopal was 3-0. Won all 3 of their games down there. So that was a good start for Episcopal. But coming up to Virginia and playing some regular season games, they did lose quite a few. So both teams mirroring a record, as you said, of 2-10, and hitting that player and at bat is Hill Porter after the 3rd wild pitch in a row.
Here comes the pitcher, starting pitcher for the Saints, O'Neill. Trenton at first base. That ball goes over Porter's head, but Albers is there to back it up. Had a couple better innings of defense for the Maroon. Would love not to lose that momentum here. How about a double play ball for Hill Porter? Let's see what he can do. We got action in the Saint bullpen. Squares to bunt. Wurzburger Lopez fakes the throw to first but does not deliver it.
Hill struggling to find the strike zone in this inning. Could be getting a little bit tired after having to throw out of those last 2.
Delivers for a strike there. Up and in seems to be the place to live today. Righties, lefties, everywhere. Batters are having trouble with that pitch. That one delivered right on the outside black of the plate. 2 strikes on the batter. Hill could use a strikeout here for sure. He got a key one last inning. That ball curls in for strike 3, and the runner is out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. There are 2 down for the Maroon.
Second double play of this game for Episcopal.
Up comes Kosla. He's got a single to his record. He's got a line out to the second baseman on his ledger as well. Episcopal would love nothing more than a modified 1-2-3 inning here, and Porter is working fast. He delivers again. That ball bends up and in. Top 5 here on this cloudy afternoon. We do see some of the new lights coming on other fields at Episcopal. Porter delivers another ball, 2-0 count. Oh, and that one goes over the batter's head. Smartly gets the bat down there. You see the center fielder, Thomas Sigler, giving a little bit of a what's going on here motion.
Hill Porter possibly losing control after throwing so many pitches.
Baseball is a momentum game. You'd love after that, strike him out, throw him out. And that's not going to happen. Instead, a walk. That one delivered behind him. Perhaps some exhaustion showing for Porter there. So a walk, gets another base runner for the Saints. We are all tied up at 4 here in the top of the 5th.
Would wonder if we could possibly get another pitcher in the game if Hill can get out of this 5th inning. He's definitely showing some fatigue. That ball also finds itself out of the zone and near the dirt.
This number 25, Blake McAndrews.
And calling time is Moses, and he will head up to the mound to discuss some things with
and a coach
Hill.
Visit to the mound as well.
Could be Coach Hammond, the pitching coach. Both the pitching coach, and the head coach for the Maroon.
We see some military helicopters going overhead, as so often happens out here at the Dawson Baseball Diamond.
Heightened security with the King of England.
Of course. Royalty in our midst. Are you a royalty hound there, Jay? You like to follow the gossip and the drama?
Can't say I am, although definitely interesting to see all the heightened security around D.C. as when I went on my flex block, a few streets were closed down. It did take us an extra long time to get back to campus.
Ooh, you were just a few blocks away from the King himself. That ball delivered low and outside to start off 1-0. Again, still 2 outs with the runner at first base here in the top of the 5th. Let's see if Porter can find the zone. Another one low and away, gets away from Wurzburger Lopez, but the runner does not advance.
Hill does have the benefit of second base and first base both being force outs. So if he could get the ball in play and ground it to one of his infielders, could most likely get the ball to one of those bases to get an out. And now he has all square bases to get an out.
Another walk.
2 walks is not what you want to see when you're working off momentum, as most pitchers do. And off that double play, unable to convert. And now I believe
Here comes a pitching change. I thought maybe they would let him in to face the number 9 hitter. That is Mr. Scott, but instead they're going to switch over things, and it looks like Adam Haddock is coming into this game to pitch. And looks like we got an update from the Lax team. Jay, you want to tell us what's going on over there?
So it's currently 13-7. St. Stephen's with about half as many points with about 4 minutes remaining in regulation. Dominant victory, much like the football victory, and I have to imagine
and
that
they've just scored again while we're watching. Look at that.
I have to imagine that Gus Taylor, Gavin Lewis, and Nate Tenzer are doing most of the work. And Nate Tenzer scores that goal and assisted by Chase Bazant, another prominent goal scorer for the Maroon. I'm sure Liam Brown is having a great game. Though he's let in 7 goals, I'm sure there have been many other shots taken on him, the goalie for Episcopal.
6 goals scored in the 3rd quarter and the 4th. That is a dominant run for the Maroon. Remember, the score was 8-7 or 8-6 at halftime. Not too shabby. That halftime speech from Coach Conklin must have been a banger.
Quick appreciation to the seniors of the lacrosse team. It is their senior day. Drew Vircher, Mason Maher, Of course, Carson Calburn, team captain, Chase Bizant, Laird White, Nate Tenzer, Gavin Lewis, Jack Knutson, James Ragsdale, Jack Jester, and of course Hudson Owens.
Whew.
All great players on that team and all starters on that team. So definitely going to be interesting to see how Episcopal shapes their offense and defense and special plays, including the Fogo, next year with all this young talent. A lot of sophomores on that team also rotating in starting positions. Colton Maddox, Gus Taylor, Liam Brown, as I mentioned earlier, as the goalie. Definitely going to be interesting to see the future of this Episcopal lacrosse team, as well as this Episcopal baseball team with a lot of young guys. Maximus, who we're not seeing here, is a sophomore. And, of course, you have Adam Haddock on the mound now. Brennan Casey is a second baseman and a great pitcher and is a freshman. And Drew Littlejohn, who's in left field, and Essentino Lewis in right field, both respectively sophomores. Bright future for this Episcopal team.
So Porter slides from the mound over to shortstop. And in comes Haddock to deliver his first pitch. You know, Jay, this is the time of year that the seniors start to feel like they're moving on. Oh, that ball drilled over to first base. It gets away from Albright. The runner's going to come all the way around. And he is in safely there to score the untying run. It's now 5-4 Saints on that absolute rocket that hit off the glove there of Truman Albright.
Truman diving to make that play, unable to get there in time. Just tipped off of his glove and dribbled down the right field line. Not far enough for Drew to field it, but just enough for Truman to be able to get up and run after it.
Good base running there by the Saints to come all the way around.
So we'll have a man on second and third.
Haddock delivers a strike. He's got the big leg kick going today, which is good to see. Flexibility not an issue with him.
You know, curious to see why the Maroon put Hill Porter at shortstop. You know, as
a weak swing there to get the strike on the batter.
Hill Porter, who's been throwing for most of this game and also played shortstop before, even though he does have that experience, I wonder why the Maroon didn't put a fresher arm at shortstop. Tough plays need to be made, you know, getting across the field and also making tough throws. And I would hate to see the Maroon squander an out opportunity if Hill Porter were to make a throw and it end up in the dirt because of how exhausted his arm is.
Certainly could be a factor as this game progresses. Haddock delivers. That ball drilled down the left field line, but just foul. Fortunate break for the Maroon.
It'll be 2 strikes on the St. Stephen's batter. Adam Haddock a mere 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Force play on first is the most optimal play if the ball were to be hit fair.
Haddock takes a set. High leg kick. He delivers in the dirt outside. Wurzburger Lopez does really well to block that one. Keeping that runner at second base and another at third base.
Full count, 3-2. Ball will be outside. Correction, now I believe it's a full count. It was 2-2 earlier.
You love to see Haddock just covered in dirt. That's one of the great parts about high school baseball. Players all over the place. He delivers a called third strike there, and that's going to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 5th. The score is Saints 5, Maroon 4.
Definitely a gritty matchup between these two teams. Less than a minute remaining in the lacrosse game behind us. And I have to imagine the Maroon are going to have a dominant victory there.
Victory formation, as we say. Probably just playing keep away a little bit.
Letting that 80-second shot clock run out is Episcopal. And I can hear the whistles behind me as the game comes to a close.
Love to see the seniors get a win on their senior day over there. Families in attendance in many cases. I noticed some families had some big fathead posters printed up of their boys to celebrate them on this one of their final home games.
Bittersweet to see these seniors go all across campus.
Other than your brother Jay, who you miss the most in the senior class as they move on to across the country and the world for college?
Hard to pick one, and I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll list a few guys.
Let's hear it.
Avery Bowers, on-dorm leader, monitor on Hoxton, is going to be
Ooh.
a miss. And then also, of course, you have Hill Porter, Timmy Albers, Noble Kelly, especially the glue on this Episcopal baseball team, and a bunch of guys, Jack Knutson and Carson Calburn, one of my advisory brothers.
Ooh, there it is.
Charles Fisher, the head monitor, and also my brother's roommate sophomore year and student leader last year for my Hummel year as a freshman, and many more that I can't say right now.
Quite a list. They've made a big impact on this community, that's for sure. As so often happens, Adam Haddock got the third out there, and here he is stepping in to try to help himself as the batter. Let's see what he can do to start off the bottom of the fifth here.
From mound to batter's box. And that
ball bounces in. Ball one. First base coach a little late getting over there, perhaps. Correction, that was a foul ball being returned. Here comes Haddock. Oh, that ball bends in, almost hits him. Ball two. Getting a little darker out here as the sun gets closer to down, Jay. We got plenty of daylight left, but there's another ball three.
3-0 count for Episcopal.
Haddock would love to get on base here to start something. Oh,
And
that
he'll
either
be
plunked
hit.
him or went behind him.
Definitely hit his arm there. Not where you want to be hit by the ball. And that definitely hurts. I mean, Billy Toomey, who we were talking about earlier, a loss for this Maroon team, the shortstop with a broken wrist.
Was that on a hit by pitch?
That was on a hit by pitch,
boy.
a 90-mile-an-hour fastball by a Landon pitcher.
Hate to hear it.
And that hurt, fractured his wrist into several pieces.
Absolutely brutal, but here steps Albers, and on the first pitch, Haddock is going. He is in there safely. The Maroon speed is on display here. Albers now with the man in scoring position and still nobody out.
Episcopal looking to tie it up again. They haven't been in front yet in this game. Would love to see them bat in a few runners here and take the lead for the first time.
Albers lined out the opposite way back in the second inning, and he took a walk back in the fourth. Back in the third. Let's see what he can do here. Big number 10 stands in there, waggling that bat with a bit of swagger. He squares to bunt. First baseman crashes in, and the umpire calls a balk on the pitcher there. Heads up play by the umpires to notice. Albers squaring to bunt threw off the mojo of our pitcher, Mr. Wolf. And there it is, Haddock at third base. And all it takes is a fly ball, maybe ground ball to the right side, although the infield will be in here. Oh, Albers with a big swing through it, staying aggressive. That ball is in low.
I believe that'll be 3-1 count now for Episcopal.
Again, Albers has a job to do here. You got to pull the ball as a left-handed hitter to get that runner home. He hits it off the pitcher's glove, and that's a fortunate bounce for the Maroon. Look at that. The run comes home. Albers hit that ball hard enough that it glanced off the pitcher's glove and kind of through the shortstop hole there. And just like that, we are back even 5-5 with still nobody out for the Maroon.
So no outs. Count will reset. Essentino Lewis will take a step into the batter's box, and off that lucky bounce off P.J. Wolf's glove there, tried to be the all-around player, pitching, hitting, and making the fielding play there.
Thought we might see Albers in motion on that one, but not yet. Essentino Lewis steps in.
Timmy Albers, not one of the faster members of this Episcopal team. Would be interesting to see him move towards second, although there is a runner, correction, as I mentioned before. Adam
He
Haddock.
is going, and the ball is grounded to third.
Adam
He
Haddock.
is going, and the ball is grounded to third. Albers' steal attempt eliminates the double play, but they get the out at first base. That is a 5-3 putout.
So fielder's choice there, and Essentino Lewis will be the victim of that. And now coming up to bat is Brennan Casey.
And now the lead run goes into scoring position in the form of one tall drink of water, Timmy Albers. Let's see what Casey can do here.
I believe Timmy Albers shares his favorite baseball team with you, the Mets.
The New York Mets, worst record in the league at the moment. That ball bounces away, and Albers is on the move. He might even take a turn here. That ball came all the way over to the St. dugout. A wild pitch that could not be stopped.
Ball's bouncing all over the field for St. Stephen's. Very interesting set of bounces there. Bounced off the glove of P.J. Wolf out towards right field, past the shortstop, and then there the ball bounces off of the catcher over towards the dugout.
Oh, that ball barely caught the strike zone for a called strike up and away. Close one, just a little bit down and in.
Count is now 1-1. See what kind of approach Brennan Casey has here with one out.
Again, the infield in there for the Saints. They are trying to stop runs as much as they can. It hasn't worked out so far. Ooh, thought that may have been a called strike. That one a little bit high. A little bit of an erratic strike zone. Here it is 3-1. Casey would love to dunk one into the outfield, get that run home.
Then again, a walk to first, which we might get here, and we will. It's a high pitch over the eyes of Brennan Casey would get the Maroon in position to run one of their favorite plays here, which would be the runner going to second on an obvious play that would be an easy out for the catcher. See him throw it to second to try and get Brennan out. If he does successfully, it doesn't matter because Episcopal has an out to throw away. And then that would give Timmy Albers room to run down towards home and score, giving Episcopal the lead for the first time today. We might see that in action, or if the coaches decide it's too risky because of the speed of Timmy Albers, we might see Episcopal try something a little bit less aggressive and just keep the players in their position and possibly give Brennan a little bit of more of a lead to try and bait the catcher of St. Stephen's into having a wild pitch, which would give Timmy an easier opportunity, or just to give Brennan an easier jump towards second if there's an infield ground ball to prevent the double play. A lot of options for this Episcopal team and a lot of strategy in baseball.
And a little bit of jazz being played right now, perhaps to get into the head of the opposing pitcher here, Wolf. Good call by the Episcopal bench to throw up some saxophone there. In steps. Is this a pinch hitter we have here? It looks like it might be for Littlejohn.
Looks like Jamie Nicodem getting inside the batter's box for Episcopal.
You think maybe being called on to bunt, or what do we have going on here? Interesting choice there to bring in to bring in Nicodem.
Nicodem coming back on varsity for the first time in a few games after taking a break. And
that ball low, beautiful block by the catcher to keep the runners where they are.
now taking a moment is the umpire. Going to go talk to P.J. Wolf.
It's a bit of a fraternity there between umpires and catchers, right? They get a little roughed up during the game. Often when one takes a hit, the other tries to give them a little time to walk it off. That's clearly what's happening here between the umpire and the catcher.
Catcher, one of the hardest positions in baseball. You're in the play every time, no matter the pitch.
Nicodem steps in again. The runner goes. That ball trickles away, and everyone, okay, that's Casey advancing to second. Albert stays there at third. Good call by the catcher to get on it fast enough to keep the runner there, keep the score tied. But a prime opportunity here for the Maroon.
Episcopal eliminating the double play. And
Still
now
just one out.
One out with the only force out being first.
Ooh, that ball gets away. Here comes Albers. Play at the plate. He is going to be called out. Aggressive base running by the Maroon there. Albers could not quite make it home. The catcher pounced. The pitcher was crashing. Well executed by St. Stephen's after the ball got away.
Timmy Albers, not enough speed to get home, and that'll leave 2 outs for the Maroon. Not the situation that Episcopal wanted to be in, but if Jamie could get a base hit anywhere on the field, that would allow the Maroon to take the lead for the first time in this game and go into the top of the 6th inning at least with a one-run lead.
Casey did advance the third on the play. That ball spiked. Nikodem takes his walk. Runner does not advance.
So now the Maroon are back in the situation they were before, except that now they don't have that 1 out to give. And so that could change up the strategy, although Brennan is a faster runner, so it'd be curious to see if Jamie would use his speed to get to second base on a ball that's more obvious and then bait the throw, and then Brennan comes home. And Thomas Sigler's up at bat as well, so that could be another base running threat.
Here comes Sigler v. Wolf. First pitch delivered low. Catcher chose not to block it, but he picked it nicely. And it's a 1-0 count right away.
Thomas a ground out and a walk on the day.
Runner goes. The throw comes into second.
And it's
He is
too
safe.
high.
Runner at third did not advance on the play. So now runners at second and third. 2 outs for the Maroon.
Late.
Interesting. I'm a little surprised not to see Casey take a more aggressive lead on that play. I thought he might have a chance to come home with that ball being thrown in the dirt.
2 things stood out to me in that play. One, I think it was a little bit of a miscommunication between the Maroon base runners. And also, I saw the catcher make a late play there as Thomas belts one towards the second baseman, who will make the easy play towards first.
And just like that, the Maroon go down. We head to the top of the 6th, still with a tie game, 5-5. This one has been neck and neck. Sigler hit it hard, but couldn't quite get it out of the infield. He is frustrated with himself down that first base line. He certainly wears his heart on his sleeve. But there is time left in this one. 2 innings remain in regulation. Who will reign supreme on the Holy Hill? We got the Saints 5. We got the Maroon 5. And Adam Haddock stays in to pitch here.
Adam Haddock's been solid this game and then also the past few ones that he's pitched. He's been able to get the ball in the strike zone. And even though that might allow a few more hits than he might want to, it's better to throw strikes than all balls, as with all balls you're guaranteed to have runners on base, but with strikes at least you have the chance to strike a few people out or put the ball in play to get an out. And that's very key in a tight game like this. Definitely don't want to be providing free bases without any risk of taking a hit or swinging.
It's anybody's game here.
Thomas Sigler heading out to the outfield. He'll begin to warm up with Esentino Lewis. Ball's in. Moses throws to the second baseman.
A little huddle at the mound for the Maroon here. See if they can get a pep talk, get their pitcher ahead in counts earlier in this inning. It's going to be 2-3-4 for the visiting Saints. That is Leonardo, Landsberg, and Lieberman. Triple L attack here.
Episcopal needs to stay locked in here mentally. They've made a few of those errors earlier on in the game. They cannot let any of those happen now in these later innings. And the first strike there sets the stage for a dominant Alex Haddock inning. He struck out 3 batters in 3 innings consecutively only a few games ago. That was certainly something to watch. Love to see that here.
That ball popped and foul.
In case you missed it, it is a Episcopal win in the varsity lacrosse field against St. Stephen's. And I believe in the tennis match, I got word from Luis Noto, tennis player, that Episcopal won as well.
Strike 3, starting the inning off with a strikeout looking. So tennis is winning. Tennis won, excuse me. Lacrosse won. Girls JV lacrosse won. All baseball has to do is hold up their end of the bargain.
We'll love to put the maroon cherry on top here and win this game against St. Stephen's.
It is a Tuesday, which means a center night, which means often the fans fade away a little bit more than they otherwise would, so it's getting awfully quiet out here. That ball comes in high. Haddock is ready to deliver here, facing Landsberg. That one bends in. Beautiful off-speed pitch, fouled off. Good to get that pitch in the zone.
I think unlike Hill and unlike Essentino, Alex Haddock has had a real easy time getting those off-speed pitches to be controlled, which has allowed the St. Stephen's batters to, or has forced the St. Stephen's batters to keep their eye on the speed of the ball, which is just another factor when you're trying to hit. And it's provided for a tougher atmosphere when in the batter's box. I think is key to his strikeouts today.
That one fouled away again. The foul balls are adding up here.
2 strikes. I have to imagine Alex might want to look for that high inside strike, painting the corner.
Another foul ball. Quite a battle playing out in front of our eyes.
Great job from the St. Stephen's hitter, fouling those balls off.
Again, this is Landsberg at bat. Let's see if Haddock can handle him. Steve Reich, 3, ball in the dirt. Wurzburger Lopez delivers a strike to first base, and that is a strikeout swinging. So we got one looking, we got one swinging, and let's see what Haddock can do with the third.
A 1-2-3 inning would be amazing for this Episcopal team.
There haven't been any for the Episcopal squad so far this game. None for the Saints either. That one just check swung foul.
I believe that's the same hitter that did the same thing before, only an inning or 2 ago. Interesting strategy there with a check swing into the foul ball.
Here comes Haddock pitching out of the stretch. Steve Reich. Got some rain in the forecast tomorrow. We may have some indoor practices going on, but for today, the rain is held off. A little sprinkle this morning. That ball laced through the hole into right field. That is a single. No 1-2-3 inning, but we'll see if Episcopal can limit the damage.
In some ways, that does assist with an easier out, as now any play towards the left side of the field, towards the shortstop or the third baseman, is just an easy throw away from second base. And the same can be said on the right side of the field with any play towards first or second is an easy play at first.
Pinch runner coming in there. Umpire takes his requisite time to write down his little roster adjustment. And up steps the left-handed batter, Trenton. Kai had a strikeout in the first, hit into a fielder's choice in the third, and walked in the fifth. And here he is in the sixth. We'll see what he can do. Steve Reich delivered from Haddock.
Haddock's been consistent in the zone, doing a great job so far. Hopefully he can keep it up and get out of this inning and bring Episcopal into the 7th.
Check him at first. He's back safely.
Not that much of a lead there from the first base runner.
You never know with the pinch runner coming in, likely to be a speedster off the bench. That ball gets away from Wurzburger Lopez, not far. He'll deliver the throw a little bit high there. Bounces off the glove of Porter, but Sigler is there right behind him to track it down and keep the runner at second base.
Predictably so. You heard the third base coach yelling, "Go, go, go," turn into "No, no, no." Interesting. Might have tripped up the runner there because of the slimmer sounding words, but runner stays at second.
No matter the realm, communication is supreme.
Dylan Crosby Jr., the base runner. Correction. Sorry, I was
I believe
correct.
It is Dylan. Dylan Crosby. How'd you know he was a junior?
Well, he's the class of 2027 on the sheets.
Ah, I see. You mean a junior in high school. I thought you meant Dylan Crosby Jr. That ball gets away from the first baseman, and the run will come home. Batter gets to second base. A relatively routine ground ball. A little bit of a misplay, throw a little bit wide, and the run comes home to uneven this score once more.
Didn't catch that. Who fielded that ball for Episcopal? Made the throw. If I'm not mistaken, that could have been Hill
I
Porter.
believe it was.
And
Again, a little tough to see from our vantage point at times.
going back to what I said, his arm being exhausted could have led to that play. I mean, Alex throws a strike there, but could have been an easy out for someone with a more rested arm, I have to imagine. And Truman Albright wasn't able to stretch that far and get that ball. It's another strike.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches to start off the opposing starting pitcher, O'Neill. He lined out to left field to start the game. He had a walk in the third, and he had a strikeout looking last time up. Nice spot there. 1-2 count.
So Episcopal are going to need to switch their strategy once again from being in a tie game now to being down by 1 run once again. They've been in that situation before. They were in it last inning. We'd be curious to see if they take a different approach and try to be more aggressive in the bottom of the 6th.
That ball popped foul into the screen.
So still 0-2 counts. Might see an off-speed pitch down low, outside, trying to bait a swing.
Porter trying to keep the runner at second base close. Swing and a miss. That ball gets away from Wurzburger Lopez, but he's got a good throwing angle there, and Albright picks it out to end the inning. So a strikeout ends it, but not before the Saints can score to go up, and the score is now 6-5 St. Stephen's. Bottom of the 6th coming with Episcopal with the chance to strike back. You mentioned earlier they haven't been ahead in this game for even a moment. It would be great to get there this inning and go into the top of the 7th with the lead. We'll see what they can do offensively. They will send up the top of the order with Wurzburger Lopez starting things off.
I have to imagine that P.J. Wolf will not come out and pitch another inning after that showing last inning. Definitely a little bit more tired than St. Stephen wants him to be.
Looks like perhaps Blake McAndrews coming in here, if my eyes don't deceive me.
Can we get the pitcher? The pitcher.
That is, in fact, McAndrews. We'll see what he can do. The third pitcher for the visiting Saints.
Sophomore. Typically plays center field. So, have to imagine he has a very strong arm. Few wild pitches in the warm-up, but that's to be expected.
This might be the chance for the Maroon. Top of the order doesn't come around every inning. Throw comes down to second base, and we're about to be underway here.
Moses stepping up to the plate now.
Here comes the pitch to start the inning. There are no outs, and the count is 0-0. That one just bends around the plate, maybe a little bit low. 1-0 count. Oh, good off-speed pitch. Wurzburger Lopez offers at it. Can't make contact. 1-1 count. Number 25 sets and delivers again. That ball popped over behind the third base bag. Shortstop makes easy work of it. And that's the first out.
Would love to see Episcopal get a few base runners on the bags and try and get them in scoring position for an easy RBI for Adam Haddock.
The Maroon have only had the leadoff hitter on twice this game. Porter takes a ball up high.
Hill Porter not seeing the pitches that he wants. 2 balls now, no strikes.
Let's see if he can do some damage up in the count here. That pitch bends in for a strike on the outside corner. 2-1 count, still a hitter's count here.
Hill with the strike to give.
That one hits the inside corner. Now it's even at 2-2. Still just the 1 out.
Now pitcher's advantage. And outside, full count. 3-2, 1 out, no one on base. Scores 6-5, St. Stephen's. Fouled off.
Laces that one just foul. Down the left field line, going the other way a little bit, maybe protecting the plate. Smart move not to get struck out. Let's see if he can keep that going.
Love to see a ball shallow outfield.
He delivers towards the second baseman, clunks off, and that is going to end up, we'll call it an E4. He gets on base.
2 crucial mental errors on an easy ground ball towards the right side of the field for both teams in the 6th inning.
Definitely hit hard on that one. Not an easy play, but nonetheless one that needs to be made at this level. And up steps big basher Truman Albright, the 3-hitter for the Maroon, with a runner at first base.
Would love to see this run result in the same, or this error results in the same run that happened for St. Stephen's, although unsure what will happen here. First strike there for Truman, 0-1.
That ball bends inside, 1-1 count. Steps off but doesn't deliver a throw, and Hill Porter's back to first. Again, a 1-1 count here to Truman Albright. He had one of the biggest hits of the game with his booming double way back in the 3rd inning. See what he can do here.
High pitch there. Set the count at 2-1.
2-2. No motion there from the Episcopal runner, Hill Porter, at first base. Perhaps they've learned their lesson after having a runner thrown out earlier in the game.
Do not need a runner thrown out now, especially with 1 out. And now 2.
He swings through one there. Strike 3. And up comes Haddock.
Episcopal could either go one of 2 ways here now with the base running and the hitting strategy. They could go highly aggressive and bank on the fact that they'll be able to hold St. Stephen's in the top of the 7th and score in the bottom of the 7th to at least keep the game going. Or they could play very conservative and try and get a run in here.
That one ends up low. Lots of off-speed junk here from McAndrews.
getting darker and darker as the sun behind the clouds begins to go past layered acres and set over the fields.
Runner goes, throw to second base, not handled by the shortstop, and Porter is up standing. Probably not the move to go in standing, but he was safe nonetheless. Love to see a slide there.
Sometimes it's confusing with this field umpire who's not making the calls as clear as they could be here. Not making a motion if it's obviously safe.
But the runner now in scoring position for the Maroon. That is the tying run out there. Haddock dribbles one to short. The play is made to first, and that is it for the Maroon.
So now the Maroon need to hold St. Stephen's to no runs here to have their best shot at coming back and the winning. Scores St. Stephen's 6, Episcopal 5. And the bottom of the 7th, the pressure will be on Episcopal. With Adam Haddock grounding out there, the next 3 batters are
Albers, Lewis, and Casey coming up in the bottom of the 7th. We just hope it's only the 1 run that they're behind. While we are here in between bottom 6 and top 7, we just want to send a shout out to our crew members. Take it away, Jay. Celebrate these folks working hard behind the scenes.
got Eliza Hicks here on the camera. Camera 1, we've got Nobles Press over on camera 2, doing a great job getting the shots of this game. Of course, you have behind me the director, Margie Whitaker, who's in between these camera shots, and also behind me, Ryan Gallagher on the graphics. And to my right, I have Mr. Biondi, Jamie Biondi, and some may know him, the teacher, an English teacher, and an outside staff member, and of course, Coach David, who facilitates the great work we do here on EHS Live.
Glad you're still with us, everyone. These are some hard-working sophomores, juniors, and seniors on display today. And Haddock is out there again for the top of the 7th. We'll see what he can do, hopefully keeping that lead at 1.
So the hole in field will go in to give Adam Haddock a little bit of encouragement as he looks to close out this game and hold Episcopal to only 1 run behind. Looking in for the call is Adam Haddock.
The benches are definitely still in this game. Here's some chirping. That ball is laced the first pitch of the inning through the hole for a single. Porter couldn't quite get to that one. Well placed.
Bouncing around the bases is that St. Stephen's player who got the hits, trying to bait Essentino into throwing it to second and possibly throwing it away. But Essentino thinking better of it and throwing it to the pitcher.
Coastal there with his 2nd single of the game. Here steps McAndrews, the current opposing pitcher. He popped out to the third baseman. He lined out to the right field, and he took a walk. That ball dribbles foul.
So no balls, 1 strike on the current batter. Would love to see an Episcopal double play here. They've had 2 this game.
I still think back to that line out that Albers snagged, stepped right on the base, tried to turn a triple play. You don't see that too often. It was a close call. Haddock checks at first base, but the runner's back in time. That ball delivered low, little off speed there.
Down just below the zone. Adams liked those low pitches so far. Hasn't gone very high.
Ooh, that one bends in, almost hits the batter right in the helmet, but comes back.
Haddock has thrown 2 straight balls after that last hit. Hopefully he doesn't get skirmish or skittish of throwing in the strike zone.
Another foul ball there. I believe that sets us at a 2-2 count.
I believe you would be correct. 2 foul balls. Giving the count 2 strikes.
Strikeout or ground ball here would be perfectly placed. Another check at first base. Runner gets back in time.
Would love a ground ball to Hill where he could flip it to Timmy, who would then throw it to the likes of Truman. But a punch out there from the umpire, and that will be Adam Haddock's, I believe that'll be third or fourth strikeout of today's game.
Might be fourth
Catching
or
him
fifth.
looking.
Not too shabby there from Haddock. In steps the number 9 hitter, Scott, the lefty, center fielder for the Saints.
So now 1 out. Reset the count.
Ball just bends around the strike zone, ball 1. Looks like we might have a closer warming for the Saints there in the visitor bullpen. 1-0 count, 1 out. That's going to be 2-0, a little bit wide. Swing and a miss. Wurzburger Lopez checks the runner first but does not release. 2-1 count. Good connection there from Scott, but that one will get out of play. 2-2 count. Scott drilled the ball down the right field line last time up. Not too much power in this game so far from either squad. Truman Albright's double, still the biggest hit of the game. That one bounced over the fence.
Nearly was out for a home run.
That one drilled. Albers able to catch that in the air and record the double play. And just like that, the Maroon will come up down just 1 run.
Remarkable fielding today from Timmy Albers. That's his second double play of the day. Gotta be the defensive player of the game for Episcopal.
Started out in left field, but he made his impact, majority of his impact on second base after getting switched over. And so here we go to the bottom of the 7th, and just like that, Albers comes up to hit. Of course, you make a great play in the field often, so often, you are the next one up. Let's see if he can make some hay.
Episcopal now under pressure to score at least 1 run to go into extra innings.
Would love to see some free baseball. Would love to see a walk-off win here. We are unabashedly homers, rooting for these Maroon. See what they can do to these visiting Saints, our rivals on the Holy Hill. The light is getting low out here. All the other students have gone in. A couple of fans left behind home plate, but most people, I think, are at the center enjoying a Chipotle burrito bowl.
Wish I could be there myself.
Perhaps a little later.
If this game wraps up in time, we're to go into extra innings. It is currently 6:50.
Woo!
Late one. 3 hours of baseball.
We're at 2:20 right now. We'll see what we end up with here. Going to take some smart pitching, smart defense from the visiting Saints. And we do, in fact, have a closer coming in. This is number 18, Senor Dylan Landsberg, getting ready to throw. Another freshman making an impact on this Saints team. Probably be causing problems for the Maroon for a couple years to come at least.
Love to see both teams with very young rosters, promising future ahead of them.
It is a shame that the spring sports don't get as much of a culminating tournament against the Saints as we get in the fall, even in the winter. Some of the teams, the basketball games tend to go pretty big. Lacrosse and baseball, a little bit of a smaller scale celebration, but important nonetheless. The win feels a little bit sweeter when it's against your next door neighbor, doesn't it?
I agree with you. The Battle of the Hill, some may call it, is definitely contentious. Tight rivalry between these two. Nothing like Woodbury, but still very heated at times.
So true. How'd the baseball boys end up against Woodbury a week ago?
Against Woodbury, Episcopal just won that game, eked out a win, and in a tight matchup, I believe 6-5, much like the score of today's game.
And here comes Albers, as was foretold by the prophets. Number 10 settles in. The lefty, he's waggling that bat. He's tipping that front toe. And the first delivery is high and outside for ball 1.
The ideal situation for me, if I were to be a coach at Episcopal, the ideal realistic situation is Timmy takes the strike here on the outside corner, would be Timmy Albers hitting a single, Esentino Lewis hitting a double to put both runners in scoring position, and then, of course, getting, I believe, Brennan Casey to line one up the middle and allow at least one run to score and put another runner at third.
It's a 1-2 count here. Albers laces one up the middle, caught by the pitcher like a cat. Wow, that was hit hard, but put away by the pitcher. Jay, you're more modest than I am. You're looking for some small ball. I'm looking for back-to-back home runs here to send us home happy. Esentino Lewis steps in with 1 out.
Would love to see that out of Episcopal, and I don't know if that's entirely in the cards for the Maroon.
Lewis takes a ball outside. Good eye there. Need to get on base somehow. Any way you can. Swings through a high fastball there. Good heat from the closer on the Saints. 1-1 count. You can hear Taylor Pulsifer, another one of those senior leaders, those glue guys on the bench, getting in the ear of the opposing pitcher.
Another ball. It'll be 2 balls, 1 strike.
Looked like a strike to me. That one maybe a little bit outside. Umpire giving it sometimes and not others. That one drilled down the third baseline. That's going to be a hit. Perhaps extra bases. Probably wise to stay at first. As he does, he takes a nice turn there. Beautiful camera work from Nobles to catch us up with Esentino. And we got a base runner here, folks, which means that a Brennan Casey home run would end this ball game. You look skeptical, Jay.
Brennan Casey's definitely more of a contact hitter, not really much of a power hitter.
As the saying goes, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. We'll see what fight Casey's got in him.
Tino, also, the state champion hurdler, has got some speed on him. Would love to see him run around the bases and score to tie this game up, to possibly send it into extra innings.
We'll see if he's running here. Pitcher steps off perhaps wisely. Take a look. You never know. Could get a bunt here from Casey. Probably not a sacrifice position, but you might get a bunt for a hit. He is taking, and that is a ball outside to start out the count. 1-0, 1 out, 1-run game, 1 at bat left here for the Maroon in the bottom of the 7th if they can't extend this game. Throw over to first. Tino's back in time.
Don't think they'll be able to pick off Tino here, but I could be wrong. Don't want to jinx him, of course. But he's a heads-up base runner. He knows what he's doing.
That ball yoinked a little bit outside. Quickly a 2-0 count. We can't let a ball game go by, Jay, without referencing the just immaculate conditions out here in terms of the fields. This field is meticulously maintained by our grounds crew. One of the best in the league, that's for sure. That ball drilled to third base. Could be 2. The throw goes wide of second. And wide of first as well.
So both runners will be safe.
Field umpire not making any sort of call there. A little tough to see at second base, but you are correct. Throw must have pulled. That is Mr. Wolf off the bag. Good.
So, sorry. I mean, you can see St. Stephen's here making the decision to put their exhausted pitcher at second base instead of shortstop where he was before. Unlike the Maroon. Difference in strategy there. Interesting. Both of those players not able to make the throw to first when the pressure was on. So both kind of evens out there. Would love to see the Maroon score here with the go-ahead runner on base and the tying runner in scoring position.
Is that Nicodem up again here for his second at bat?
Believe it is.
He got a walk his first time up, replacing Littlejohn in the 5th. But the high school is threatening here with runners at first and second base, still just one out. That could have been a double play at the end of the game, and instead here we have a threat. That ball is in for a strike on the outside half. No shortage of drama today on this field. Sigler looms on deck. Nicodem grounds one foul. 0-2 count. Got to do a job, get these runners around, get them in.
Thomas has been in that situation before, needing to bat runners in to keep the game going in the 7th inning with 2 outs. He's successful 50% of the time, has been up there twice.
Second baseman flashing over to keep Lewis honest. Pitch is delivered. Oh boy, that looked off the plate to me, but it goes in for a called third strike, and the Maroon are down to their final out. Usually when you see the catcher reach all the way across like that, it's not a good sign for the end of the pitch, but umpire at home plate saw that one as hitting the outside corner, and it all comes down to Mr. Thomas Sigler. Let's see what he can do with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th and 2 men on. That ball bounces in for a ball to start the at-bat. That was an off-speed pitch.
Thomas antsy to get a hit here.
He connects and fouls it off. That might be playable over for the first baseman.
And a collision
a
between the
collision.
catcher and the first baseman. Both players still on the ground. That looked nasty. Ball hits the ground, so Thomas will stay in the batter's box.
Those
But hopefully
players
they're both
going above
okay.
and beyond to try to make the final out. Looks like they may be bumped and bruised a little bit there. In comes Rachel Kelly, the athletic trainer at Episcopal. We hope they are okay.
Both athletic trainers making their way over there. Miss Kathy as well on her way in her own ATV.
Excuse me, you may be right. That may be just Miss Kathy. Coming around. Hate to see in such a tense moment, perhaps an injury knocking somebody out of this game. That was a true effort play. Both of those players, catcher and first baseman, going all out to try to connect.
So that could shake up this lineup significantly. If we were to have a catcher that comes in as a backup, obviously they'll get a few warm-up pitches, but that doesn't prepare you for being in the game the entire time. So that could lead to a few wild pitches and giving the Maroon an opportunity to move their runners up to third and second, not to mention the chance that a missed ball might go behind the plate and allow the Maroon to score. Also now a first baseman who would be coming in, and an unfamiliar player with that position perhaps wouldn't be able to stretch or make the play that other first basemen would be able to make.
Both players now standing. You hear some applause there from the crowd. Looks like they're going to be okay, shaken up.
Running full speed into each other. One of them with catcher's gear, probably a little less banged up than the first baseman. I have to imagine that collision was quite hard on both of them, although I did see the catcher fold over and hit his head, so he could have a concussion. Not what you want to see.
Especially heading into a playoff push for both of these teams. Like we said, they're not at the top of the league rankings, but nonetheless, 2 proud programs hoping to make an impact. And it looks like both players are going to be all right, thankfully. That is a great outcome. And we will reset here with Sigler still at bat. Perhaps giving the catcher a little extra time to get his feet under him.
I believe it's an 0-2 count on Sigler.
What an epic effort that was. That would have been an intense end to the game.
If they would have made that catch on that collision, I would have to say they definitely deserve to win this game. Now Thomas, a little bit of time to rest. Both the base runners as well getting some time to rest their legs. So could be quicker in the base running, then also Thomas getting some time to adjust to the pitches and what he saw earlier.
So Sigler settles in against our pal Dylan Landsberg here. It all comes down to this. Strike. 2 strikes on the batter now. The Maroon are down to their last strike.
Thomas going to need to be aggressive.
That ball bounces away from the catcher, and the runners will advance. The drama gets more and more intense by the moment.
I believe it is 2-2. Runners both in scoring position. The go-ahead run on second, taking a massive lead. Going to need to take that jump. Thomas needs to be aggressive. 2 strikes, 2 balls.
Surprised to see the outfield playing so deep here. Sigler with a great eye. Just missed that pitch.
And throwing his glove as a center fielder.
Some frustration on the part of the Saints there. They thought they had that one. Instead, Sigler lives to fight another day. We'll see what he can do with his second chance. Third chance, really, if you count the foul ball that was almost reeled in. Landsberg sets. He delivers a strike that's fouled off by Sigler, still alive.
An anxiety-inducing at-bat for Thomas Sigler here.
This is as intense as it gets. Again, the winning run is now in scoring position. The tying run over there at third.
Both quicker players on base.
That ball delivered low, and that's going to be ball 4, which is going to load the bases here. We thought it couldn't get any more intense, but here we've ratcheted it up one level, and just like that, Moses Wurzburger Lopez going to come up here.
All Moses needs is a base hit to right field, and that would tie the game at least and possibly bring home the winning run.
Good pitch to get ahead there by Landsberg. Wurzburger Lopez goes down 0-1. The utmost confidence there for the sophomore. Let's see if he can rise to this big moment. He delivers the ball. It's going to land foul, and it's going to land out of play. 0-2 count now. Once again, the Maroon are down to their final strike.
Back to the last strike is Episcopal.
That one delivered high, fastball. He got a little ahead of himself there, perhaps with a little adrenaline trying to finish this game off. It's a 1-2 count.
And full loaded bases.
And 2 outs.
And
that hits him, and the run is going to come in. It is a tie ball game. What's happening here?
time called. Apparently, the umpires will come and talk about it. Great play there from Moses, and heads up, ball knowledge there, seeing that the ball is going to come and hit him, staying in the box, waiting for the ball to hit him, even though he might take one for the team and get hit in the foot.
And
that will send the tying
confirmed.
runner in.
So Wurzburger Lopez takes one in the boot, perhaps, and that ties the ball game, which means it is 6-6 here in the bottom of the 7th, and the Maroons still have a chance to finish this thing off here.
So the Maroon now, in this situation, need a mere walk, a single, any one run to come in would allow Episcopal to come in. That's James Dorian, number 25, swing player for the Maroon, on base pinch running, using his speed to his advantage. He's a varsity soccer player.
A little surprised not to see much of a celebration there from the Maroon. They tied this ball game up. We do now see some action in the bullpen, thinking about maybe extra innings for the Maroon. That ball delivered well high, an aggressive lead there at third base.
Noble Kelly warming up. Brendan Casey, I believe, in the bullpen.
Ooh.
Great choice of pitcher to keep this game going and hopefully hold St. Stephen's.
This is Hill Porter with the chance to end it here. Another one delivered low. It is 2-0. Nowhere to put him. This could be a walk-off walk. Anything but an out is going to end this ball game in the Maroons' favor.
Now, a walk-off walk, I will take it, but I have to imagine that it would be way more interesting to see a hit or some sort of play that would lead to an Episcopal walk-off and a win.
How about a walk-off grand slam?
That would be magical. I would love to see that over a walk-off walk for sure.
Thomas, again, that count is 2-0.
Thomas Sigler pinch running.
Through the shortstop, and that's going to be a walk-off win for the Maroon. The final score 7-6. The rivalry game is delivered as a win by Hill Porter. He pitched earlier in this game. Here he gets the RBI single that ends things. And we are done. Congratulations to the Maroon for defeating their rival Saints. Jay, that was an exciting ending. You can see the players mobbing their guy Hill. What an outcome.
I agree with you. That's a Maroon W in the books for Episcopal as they go to shake the hands with St. Stephen's.
Thanks so much for joining us on a cloudy Tuesday. We will send things away and hope to see you again soon on the Holy Hill. Congratulations to the high school baseball team for a big win.